Aloha, everybody. Welcome to Hawaiian IANDS. I'm Shaun Lether, and I'd like to welcome you to our special presentation tonight of Sarina Baptista. We will be she'll be speaking to us about her spiritually transformative experience and leading us in a guided meditation on how we can all get in touch with our loved ones. Sarina is an award-winning author, international speaker, spiritual teacher, and psychic medium. Her latest book, My View from Heaven, is a 2019 COVR Visionary Awards bronze recipient in the iconic book category. She was a featured speaker for the Life, Death, and Beyond International Conference in Crete, Greece, and is a resident psychic for iHeartMedia's Big 97.9 FM in Northern Colorado. She teaches classes and is a visiting medium at Lilydale, New York during their summer program, and is a presenter at the IANDS conference. She's created mediumship training programs, including mentoring, long distance training workshops, and webinars. Sarina discovered her gifts through her own tragedy, the passing of her 7-year-old son, JT, in March 2007. She learned that her son did not really die. He was still very close, and he led her to her incredible journey of discovering her mediumship gifts. It's Sarina's mission to help you find purpose and connection with your highest divine self, create the bridge for conversation with loved ones who have passed, and mentor psychics and mediums to be master messengers. Welcome, Sarina.
Hi there. Catch that darn mute button always catches me. Anyway, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I'm very excited to be doing this workshop tonight. I love doing this workshop because it is one way that we can really get connected with those loved ones on the other side, which was a really important thing for me to do when I lost my son. Lost, I put that in, in parentheses here or in quotes, because I really didn't lose him. As you all know who are watching this, it is just another stepping stone. It is just another transition into something different. And my son was very, very clear about that after he left. I had no idea I was a medium, but he led me to the people who I needed to talk to those who could train me, because you really do need training. And which is a funny story, because I found out I was a medium in talking with another medium to try and talk with my son. And she said, "Did you know you're a medium?" And I said, "No." What does that even mean? Do you just wake up and you start talking to dead people? What does that mean? She says, training. So that's what I did. And that's what I do now to help others in learning how to do this. It really is a simpler process than what you would think it was. And JT, my son, he's the one that gave me this process and is just an amazing master soul on the other side. Absolutely one of my guides. So I'm very excited that that we get to work together. He and I work together all the time. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate that. I'm going to jump right into the workshop aspect of it, because this is the important part of learning. So let me go ahead and do that. All right. So I always say an intentional prayer before any of my workshops or my sessions, because I want the universe to know what I expect to have happen here. So our prayer for tonight is, "Dear Creator, we are here to learn new ways of connecting with you and our divine support system. We intend our abilities to clearly hear, feel, see, and know are boosted to new levels today. Only positive, loving, high vibrational energies are allowed to visit us today. We also intend our vibrations are lifted to meet our guides and loved ones. We are so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you." I find that when you put in an intentional prayer, then you've basically set the groundwork for what the universe can do for you, because it's not just a one person show here. We have so many helpers and so much assistance from the other side that bringing them in and asking them to be here is very important. So who am I? Well, you already heard a lot of this. I'm actually the founder of the Psychic Center of Northern Colorado. I am an award-winning author, international speaker, psychic medium, spiritual teacher. I also do Akashic Records and Reiki Master Teacher. And you also heard that my View from Heaven received an award. This book was actually written by my son, and that's why I have this in here. He wrote this from his perspective. I obviously translated that for him, but he's actually won 2 awards now. And this is his birthday month. He was born on October 18th, and I always love to celebrate his birthday. So the Kindle version of the book, of his book, My View from Heaven, will be free on his birthday. And you can go to myviewfromheaven.com for the Amazon link for that, only on that day. He also has an oracle card deck, a fabulous deck. And again, I'm celebrating him. So that's going to be on sale all month long for on Amazon and Etsy, and you can go to channelingjt.com for that. So, okay, so let's first talk about what we're talking about here. Everything in the universe is energy, right? I mean, everything, the table, the chair that you're sitting in, our bodies, everything around us is energy. And what we do when we connect to the other side is we are tuning in to that energy frequency. And there's, of course, different ways that we can do that. And those are called the clairs. So, and you've probably heard a lot of these terms already. Clairvoyance is clear seeing, claircognizance is clear knowing, clairaudience is clear hearing, clairsentience is clear feeling, clairgustinance is tasting, and clairalience, I always want to say alliance on that one, but I believe it's aliens, is smelling. And that's one that I had in the beginning. I did not know in the beginning that JT was giving me the smells, but he was. And the smell that he liked to give me was of his dirty socks. So I would walk in, I would be walking around the house, and I would smell his dirty socks. And I would go into his room and I would smell his dirty socks. He was only 7 when he left, so he really wasn't good at doing laundry yet. And so I would wonder, where is that missing piece of underwear that we didn't get washed? Where are those socks? Are they hiding under the bed? And then when I was talking to that medium who told me that I was a medium as well, I said, I want to talk to my son. And she did this. I'm smelling dirty laundry. So she gave him the smell. She gave her the smell too. And it was just amazing because I knew immediately that that was him, and that he was the one who was talking with her. So the clairalience was one that came in immediately. We all have all of these clairs. We all have all of this. What happens is one is dominant, 2 are dominant. And so tonight we're going to figure out what are the dominant clairs for you, because we want to work with those first, and we want to hone those first. And the other ones can come in as well. I have all of them now. I began with a clairalience, clairsentience, and clairaudience, but now I have all of them because I trained all of them. So we'll figure that out tonight. So clairvoyance is clear seeing, and you've seen this before. I can tell you, it's for most people, it's not like the ghost whisperer where you see these full apparitions or full bodies and they look like real people. For me, it's more energy forms. It's more pictures in my mind's eye. For other people, they do see it very, very clearly. But for most people, the clairvoyance comes in as the pictures or movies or energy forms. People who are clairvoyant usually say words like, oh, I see it like this. It's all about the vision of things. And so right now, when we're talking about this, take a couple of notes. Hopefully you have some paper in front of you. You're going to need it for later. But for right now, are you a seer? So just put a yes or a no. When you first encounter someone new, do you first notice how they look? Yes or no. Can you see pictures in your mind when you close your eyes? Yes or no. When someone is telling you a story, do you see it in your mind? Do you see colors around people? Or do you see colors when you close your eyes? Those are some of the indicators that clairvoyance is one of your dominant clairs. There's a lot of other ones as well, but these are some of the main ones. Let's talk about claircognizance, clear knowing. You just know. Thoughts fly in, you think that they're yours, but would you think of this? You know things that you wouldn't have any way of knowing. And people who are claircognizant use the words, I know. The other thing about claircognizance, it's one of the trickier clairs because you're getting information all the time. All the time information is being downloaded. And you might think, well, that's just me. That's just me doing that. But it's actually you are connected to your helpers, to source, and that information is coming in through them. Not all of it, obviously, but a lot of it. So with people who are claircognizant, I ask them to ask their helpers when they're doing training with me to give them something that they wouldn't know, to tell them something that they wouldn't know, or give them the knowing of something that they wouldn't ordinarily know. And then that way you can know that it is not you, it is them. So are you a knower? Have you ever just known something without ever learning it? Have you ever had someone ask you a question and you knew the answer and you knew it was the true answer? Do answers or solutions drop into your head as if they've been there all along? Those are indications that claircognizance or clear knowing is one of your dominant clairs. Clairaudience, clear hearing, and this is voices in your head, those voices in my head, not necessarily outside of you. The voices outside of your head, like you hear your name being called and it's outside of you, that is more of a disembodied voice. But if you hear voices in your head, and it could be yours or others, I'm very fortunate that I actually do hear the intonation of people's voices, whether they're male or female, young or old. But most people who are clairaudient, it's actually their voice that they hear. So that can be kind of tricky too. Thoughts fly in, but something, again, you wouldn't think about, uses the words, I hear you. So do you hear? Are you clairaudient? Have you heard voices in your head you knew were not yours? When you ask a question, do you hear the answer in your head? Do your ears ring? And I want to qualify that one. We're not talking about an actual problem with the ears. We're talking, speaking of ringing in my ears, we're talking about the when it is like a sound and then it goes away, or it's a pressure and it goes away. That would happen to me all the time when I was learning to enhance my hearing through my training. And it was sometimes deafening, that ring, but then it would go away. So it wasn't an actual problem with my ear. What was happening was my hearing was coming in, and my helpers were assisting in getting that activated. Clairsentience, clear feeling others' emotions and pains. Lots of healers are clairsentient. Sensing energy through the body, as in vibrations, uses the word I feel. Are you a feeler? When you enter a room, do you feel the vibes in the room before you see anyone? When you talk to someone who feels down, do you start to feel down and they start to feel better because you're taking on their stuff? Do you feel tightness in your body when someone else has an ailment in their body? Do others dictate what your mood is by the way they feel? Those are indications that you are a feeler, that you are clairsentient, and it's a wonderful clair to have. It really is. I use it when I am talking with spirits who are giving me in indications of what happened to them when they left, what happened to them when they were transitioning, when they were passing, and they'll give me the sensation in my body. So that I know what was happening for them. But then I let it go. And that's the thing that we have to learn as clairsentient energies, clairsentient people, is to let it go and to not keep it in our energy center. We don't have to hold on to that. We don't have to heal everybody. We don't have to take everybody's stuff on to make them feel better. In fact, I remember my guides told me we're doing a disservice. You know, if I do that for people, I'm actually doing a disservice to them, because then they don't get their lessons. They don't get to learn what they asked to learn when they came here. All right. So now let's talk about, so that was the clairs in a very brief rundown. So now what I want you to do, if you've been writing down your yeses and your nos, determine which top 2 you have or which top 1 you have, and that would be your dominant clair. And that's the one, again, that we work with first. Now, again, all of them will come in with training, with persistence, with, you know, doing the exercises, connecting exercises. But we really want to work with the ones that are dominant first. It's going to make life so much easier. When I was in mediumship training, I would just get so mad at those people who could see everything. They could see people, and they saw them, they saw their hair, they saw everything. And all I could do was hear them. And I didn't realize what a gift that was, to be able to hear them. But I was so upset that they could see and I couldn't. And I thought, well, I can't be a good medium if I can't see. And my guides immediately came in and said, yes, but you can hear, right? And you can feel, right? And they gave me a mantra to use when I would do that. They would say, don't say I can't see, say I'm working on seeing. And as soon as I started to do that, my sight came in. It was really less than maybe 4 days, and my sight came in. It was amazing. So when we open ourselves up to talking with our angels, guides, loved ones, whatever you want to call those other energies that are in that other space, when we open ourselves up for that, we want to make sure that we are setting our boundaries. We don't want to be just open circuits and everything comes in. It doesn't matter, you know, where it comes from and you know what the frequency is. We want to make sure that we are connecting with those frequencies that we want to connect to. So keeping others' energies out. So no one can come into your space without permission. End of story, period. I really want to emphasize that. No one can come into your space without your permission. So if you say only high frequency is allowed in my space, then that's what happens. You can demand that. You can require that. I require that as part of my boundaries. But it took me a long time to figure out that I could actually do that. The first couple of months of my training, it was like everything was coming in. It was so distracting and disturbing that I couldn't even function in 3D land. You know, I had all this bombardment, and until I said, no, that's not the way we're going to do this. I get to say when you come into my space, I get to say when I'm going to take a message from you. And that goes for live people to people who are here in body. You know, we need to set our boundaries so that only high vibration is allowed in our space. And when I say about high vibration, it's not a hierarchy, but there is a scale. And all of you probably know this. I'm probably preaching to the choir, but the higher the frequency, the faster the vibration is, and the more information you can get from that level. The lower frequencies that we encounter here, whether they're in body or not, don't have answers for us. They don't really have anything that is valuable to us, and they can actually interfere with our energy. So what we want to do is we want to say, only high vibration is allowed in my space. You can also ask for divine assistance. In the beginning, I didn't really feel very powerful. I didn't know that I could command this, that I had the power, which we do. Each one of you has the power. So I would ask for divine assistance in whatever form that is. I used Archangel Michael, the teacher that I had, and the kind of the flavor that I learned in was around the archangels. But whatever it is that you feel comfortable, as long as that energy is like a higher power, is a divine energy. And a note here that even when you say, no one can come into my space unless they're high frequency, or only high frequency can come into my space, you ask for divine assistance, I did all of that, and I would still feel all this stuff around me. And it was because I was a feeler, because they weren't getting into my space, because what I had commanded was actually my reality, but I could feel them out there. And it was, I had to kind of put blockers on that as well, so that I wouldn't feel, again, everything around me. The other thing to keep other energies out of your space is to clear your energy throughout the day. And we're going to go into that. We're going to work on that today. I have a meditation that we're going to do that will clear your energy. And with that, if you just can even do like an energy wash throughout the day, just at lunchtime, on breaks, whatever, before you eat, just make it a habit just to wash energy away. Because again, we kind of bump into people, we pick up their energy as we go about our day, and we don't need that static in our space. We want to have only our energy in our space, and then we are able to actually communicate and keep our vibration where it needs to be. The other thing that I found is essential is meditation. And now I get a lot of people, a lot of my clients, my students who say, well, I can't meditate. I can't shut off my brain. I can't, my mind just wanders. I had the exact same problem. So I did use in the beginning a guided meditation. And that's what we'll do tonight, obviously, is a guided meditation. And I did find that using the guided meditation, now I don't need a guided meditation. I've been able to train my brain, train my mind to the point where I don't need the guided piece of it. But if you have trouble shutting off that monkey mind, then I would absolutely suggest a guided meditation to do your meditation. It should be 15 minutes a day is a great amount of time. But even if you can't even do that, then do 5 to 10 minutes of an energy clearing. Meditation is a must before connecting, because it raises your frequency, it clears your energy. And just think of yourself on the street level, right? And you're on the street and there's a whole bunch of people around you. And that is a lot of energy, a lot of static. And then you're trying to connect to the ethereal realm in a very different frequency. It's going to have a lot of static. After you meditate, what happens is you raise your frequency, you raise your vibration. So now you're at the top of the building. You're at the top of the building, and now you're connecting with the etheric space, and you don't have the static of the ground level. So that's what meditation does. It is a must before you do any connecting. Journaling is fabulous. I found that what journaling did for me was it gave my mind permission to accept the experience, because our minds are very wonderful and powerful, and they really don't like this woo-woo stuff that we do. So doing this journaling, as you're writing it down, your mind is going, oh, wow, she believes this stuff. Okay, I guess it's got to be real then. And so it's a way for your your brain to assimilate the information and assimilate the experience. So documenting your experience is essential. Write down every detail from your experience in your meditations, in your synchronicities, because we have synchronicities with spirit all the time. And I would absolutely suggest that you date and timestamp it, because at least for me, I was doing multiple, I mean, I would have multiple experiences in a day with, with my guides, with spirit, with, with meditation. And I wanted to know when those were. And it's amazing. You can go back. I would suggest having like a journal notebook. Go back and read some of those entries that you have. It's really incredible stuff, because a lot of the time when you're in meditation, again, it's very etheric, it's very surreal. So writing it down and getting that into a space where it's in print, so to speak, and you can go back and look at it, because you might forget it. So the other thing that I do, and I talked about this before, I use Archangel Michael. I've used Archangel Michael from the beginning. I am one of those mediums that can communicate with all levels of energies. And in the beginning, I didn't really want to communicate with all of the levels of energy. So I used Archangel Michael, and you don't have to, again, the whole Archangel thing, that's just kind of a label. I just call him Michael. I call him the cosmic bouncer, because he will basically remove anything. If I am ever concerned about anything that's in my space, and I ask him to remove it, he removes it immediately. So just one moment. The intentions that I use for this, and you can change this wording around, but I invite each of you to do this at some point, because what we want to have everything crystal clear when we are doing our connecting. We want to have our frequency high. We don't want to have energies that are not supposed to be in our bodies, in our auras, in our homes, and all of that. So this is a great intention to say. So it's, Dear Archangel Michael, or Dear Michael, please vacuum any energies out of my body, my aura, my energy fields and centers that are not for my highest and purest good or for my divine purpose. Please use the high, medium, or low setting, and that is how quickly the energy is released from your energy field. You can play with it, see how it is. Sometimes high is a little too much. Sometimes for kids especially, I have them do low, because then they won't feel as lightheaded maybe. So please use the high, medium, or low setting and replace any energies with your light and love. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's the first part of it, is clearing. And what we do when we clear it, when we clear our bodies, and we ask for Michael to do this vacuuming out, it's just another way to do it. There's a ton of different ways that you can clear your energy. Again, we're going to do it in meditation a little bit later, but if you are not feeling powerful, if you're not feeling like you get to say what this is all about, then you can use Michael, or you can use another energy that you feel is powerful. I would highly recommend that you do reclaim that power for yourself, because we can do this. We are doing this. We are in control here of what's around us and what's in our space. The other one that we do is for our homes. We would clear it first with the first paragraph. Instead of saying vacuum out my body or energy field, you would say vacuum out my house, every room. And then we seal the house. So Dear Michael, please seal this house, doors, windows, ceiling, floor, wall to wall. So only high vibration is allowed inside. All other vibrations must stay outside this house from this moment forward. Thank you so much. What that does is it puts a kind of an energy field around your home or your car. I do this in my car as well. I do this in hotel rooms so that because if I don't do it in a hotel room, I'll get bugged all night. So I do it in the hotel room, and that way I know that that only high frequency is going to be in there, and I can have my beautiful, sweet dreams without being interfered with. The other thing that I did in the beginning, and you're welcome to do this as well, because he is the cosmic bouncer, I asked him to be my protector, and this is the intention that I use. Dear Michael, please be my protector from this moment forward. Surround me with your love and light and allow only high vibrational energies near me. Thank you so much. And then after you do that, you can ask Michael to come in and sense that energy. It's a very high frequency energy, and we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. We're going to be asking for our loved ones to come in, our guides to come in, and in a special exercise that we're going to do. And you can sense their frequency. You can sense who they are, because we want to make sure that the energies that we are talking to are the ones that we want to talk to. So we make it very clear. And so this next part is making that very clear. When we're talking to guides, say only my teachers can connect with me. Only my high guides can connect with me. Only my specialty guides can connect with me. Or when we're calling in our loved ones, only my mother can connect with me, or only my sister can connect with me. So we make sure that we are calling in that specific energy and saying they are the only ones that are able to connect with me. Again, that sets it up so that you know who you're talking to, you know who you're connecting with. Because again, we get to say this, we get to say what happens in our space. So you'll see in the exercise that we do, we're going to ask for our loved ones to come in, and they will. The other thing that I want to talk briefly about is the chakra system, because I am going to be doing a chakra clearing with you all. And you'll notice on this diagram that I include the ear chakras. And the reason that I do that is because I have hearing. I'm clairaudient, and so I like to clear my ear chakras. And you might be clairaudient as well, so I want to make sure that we clear your ear chakras also. But it's a basic chakra system, and we're going to be using that in the clearing. The other thing I use is an octahedron. I don't know if you're familiar with sacred geometry, but it's wonderful. I would say if you're not familiar with sacred geometry, definitely take a look. It is just amazing. The frequency that is in these sacred geometrical shapes is off the charts. It's really, really wonderful. I use the octahedron before all of my sessions, in all of my meditations. Whenever I am connecting, whenever I'm doing any spiritual work, I use the octahedron, and I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. But it's basically the two pyramids on top of each other. It's the diamond shape. But again, I'll walk you through all of that. Forgot I had the slide in here. Here's how we do it. So there are two tetrahedrons on top of each other, the diamond shape. And I got this actually from Jim Self. He, in his book, What Do You Mean the Third Dimension is Going Away? A fabulous book. He does this exercise with the roses and creating the octahedron. He takes it a step farther, because he takes it to the Merkaba, where the octahedron turns into the Merkaba. For my purposes, in what I'm doing with the work tonight and what I am doing, what I usually do, I just need the octahedron. I definitely work with the Merkaba on other occasions, but when I am doing this, it's my vehicle. The octahedron becomes my vehicle. So we envision a rose above our heads at the purpose chakra. And again, I'm going to walk you through all of this. Below at the earth chakra, a rose to the left, heart level at the edge of the aura, a rose to the right, heart level, edge of aura, in front at heart level, and behind. And what that does is it creates the 6 points of the octahedron, and then we connect them energetically. But again, I will walk you through that. I keep saying that, so I don't want to get anybody to going, oh my God, I didn't get that. We're gonna do the entire thing. We're also going to connect with the crystalline grid tonight, because I have found that the crystalline grid is a very high frequency space, energetic space. So much we can learn there. It's where all information resides. It's where our loved ones are. It's where the guides are. It's where our Akashic records are. So connecting to the grid is done via intention and the octahedron. We will, through the intention, we're going to set that we're connecting with the grid, and we're bringing that energy into our body. And that's what we're going to use to do the clearing. And then we create the octahedron around us as well to kind of cement that crystalline grid energy within us. Now, the crystalline grid, I discovered this. I certainly did discover it. It's been around since the beginning of time, but I was introduced to it when COVID hit. And when COVID hit and everybody was freaking out on the planet, myself included, right? I would always connect to the electromagnetic field around the earth and pull on that for energy. And you can imagine what was happening to the electromagnetic field around the earth when all of this was happening to us. It was going crazy, and I could not get clarity. I could not keep clear because it kept going up and down. So I asked my guides, what do? I want to have this high frequency and I'm not sure what to do. And they said, go higher. So I did. I put my frequency, I put my consciousness in the higher space, and I ran into this grid, and it is a grid around the earth, but it encompasses the electromagnetic field of the earth as well. So it's like outside of that. So I connect to that, and it was very high frequency, and it cleared my energy immediately when I brought that frequency in. So I always use the grid, the crystalline grid now too. And we will envision connecting to the crystalline grid and then having that energy fill our bodies from head to toe. Preparing to receive. So this is an experiential workshop about receiving from the other side. So it's very important what we do here. We have to create our space. And what that means is the space of, just where you're sitting right now, claim that space, put high frequency in that space. And we'll do that when we do our meditation. Set and clear the space, set intention. We have to set boundaries as well. Again, the meditation, clearing our chakras and our energy, connecting with the crystalline grid, doing the octahedron, and doing our prayer of intention. So that is how we prepare to receive. And it seems like it's a lot of steps, but it really isn't. It goes very, very quickly in the meditation, and we just go boom, boom, boom. We set it all up, and then you're good to go. So step by step, here's what we're going to do when I begin this meditation. We're going to ground, we're going to open our crowns, and we're going to connect with the crystalline grid. Then we're going to fill our body from head to toe with the crystalline grid energy. Then we're going to use that crystalline grid light to clear our chakras, clear our aura, our bubble. Then we're going to create our octahedron. And then I'm going to walk you through setting your intention. And the intention that we're going to set today is I intend to clearly hear, feel, see, and know. I intend only high frequency energies are allowed to communicate with me. Thank you. And then we're going to invite our loved one or guide, whichever one you want, into our octahedron and have a conversation. Let's be realistic, though, about what we're going to ask of our dear loved ones, right? And our dear guides. Don't expect the lottery numbers, okay? It won't happen. Don't expect the horses to bet on, right? Because what we are going to be asking is for questions for our highest good. And I do a lot of times phrase my questions in that manner. Please tell me how to manage the situation for my highest good. I tack that on to everything that I ask them, because I don't know what's for my highest good. I could be asking a question or asking them to bring me something, setting intention, manifesting something that's not for my highest good, because I can't see that. So I add that if it's for my highest good. Emotionally loaded questions, we really do want to avoid those in the beginning, because we can get in the way of those. The mind takes over, the emotion takes over, and we will not receive clear answers on that. So when we're working with questions, we try to do the absolute questions first, and I'll guide you into that. And we work with yes and no questions first as well. It's a lot easier to receive yes and no than to receive an entire paragraph from your loved one. Now, you will get that paragraph down the road as you practice and continue this, because it's like exercising, right? It's a muscle. You have to exercise it. You need to do the work and exercise that muscle through practicing in order for you to get clearer. It was probably one of my guides that said, think of it as a fiber optic cable, right? In the beginning, what did we use for telephones? They always joke with me and they say, get two tin cans and the string between, right? That's not very clear. Not very clear at all. And that's kind of where we're at when we first begin. Might not be as clear. So we want to use yes, no questions. It's a lot easier to receive those. As you continue to practice, as you continue to grow this, you will grow the fiber optic and you will get clear. It's time for our meditation. So I want everyone to get comfortable, get cozy, okay? I'm going to stop this share just for a moment here. Okay. I did. Okay, good. I just needed to check to make sure that I had sound shared. So what we're going to be using today is a sound file from bensound.com. They have wonderfully created these sound bites, these sound files, and they're totally free and you can use them as long as you give them credit for using them. All right. I'm just going to turn that up just a little bit. Can you all hear that? Can you give me a thumbs up? A little bit. You need a little bit higher. Okay. Up. Okay. I have it down a little bit in the beginning because I don't want it to drown out my voice. And of course it gets louder and louder and then you won't be able to hear me, right? Can you hear it now? Is it working pretty well now? Okay, excellent. All right, so let's all begin by taking a nice deep breath. Deep belly breathing, getting oxygen into all parts of your body. Sinking into your chair or wherever you are, comfortable, cozy, nice deep breaths. And as we breathe in that beautiful light energy that is all around us right now. Breathe that energy into our bodies. And when we exhale out anything that would be holding us from completely receiving this evening. Breathe in that beautiful light. Exhale out any blocks. Find that nice deep breathing pattern that is just right for you. And now we ground ourselves, extending roots from the bottom of our feet all the way down into the soil beneath us, deeply, deeply rooted. Opening the crowns at the tops of our heads and connecting to the crystalline grid, allowing our consciousness to connect with the crystalline grid. And now we are connected, and we bring that energy down into our bodies. It comes like a beautiful column of light energy down through our crowns, and it fills us from head to toe. It comes into our faces and the backs of our heads, into our necks and our throats, moving into the shoulders, down the arms to the tips of the fingers, down the torso, down the back, filling in all the spaces, surrounding all of the organs, moving into the hips, down the legs, past the knees, all the way to the tips of the toes. Very high frequency crystalline grid energy cleanses and clears your physical body from head to toe. And now we use this beautiful grid energy to cleanse and clear the chakra system. We begin at the root chakra, which is at the base of the spine. The color associated with this chakra is red. The crystalline grid energy surrounds the root chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful red. The root chakra is cleansed and cleared. Moving up to the sacral chakra now, just above the root, and the color is orange. The crystalline grid energy surrounds the sacral chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful orange. The sacral chakra is cleansed and cleared. Moving up to the solar plexus now, which is in the stomach area, and the color is yellow. Beautiful crystalline grid energy surrounds the solar plexus, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful yellow. The solar plexus is cleansed and cleared. Moving up to the heart chakra in the center of our chests, the color is emerald green. Beautiful crystalline grid energy surrounds the heart chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful emerald green. The heart chakra is cleansed and cleared. Moving up to the throat chakra now, the color is sky blue. The crystalline grid energy surrounds the throat chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful sky blue. The throat chakra is cleansed and cleared. We now move up to the brow chakra, the third eye in the center of our foreheads. The color is indigo. The crystalline grid energy surrounds the brow chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful indigo. The brow chakra is cleansed and cleared, and the third eye is open. Moving now to our ear chakras, one on the left and one on the right, and the color is red violet. The crystalline grid energy surrounds both of these chakras, cleansing them and clearing them, allowing them to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful red violet. The ear chakras are cleansed and cleared, and hearing is open. Moving to the crown chakra now, and the color is violet. The beautiful crystalline grid energy surrounds the crown chakra, cleansing it and clearing it, allowing it to spin freely, shine brightly, a beautiful violet. The crown chakra is cleansed and cleared. And now that grid energy moves to the outsides of our bodies, cleansing and clearing the aura, the bubble, swirling around, transmuting anything we might have picked up, anything not ours, not for our highest and purest good. All of that is transmuted into high frequency light energy. And now we take this frequency even higher and we create our octahedron. Envisioning first a rose above us, just a couple of feet above the crown chakra at the purpose chakra. Envision your rose at the purpose chakra now. The next rose we envision is below us, below the root chakra, just a couple of feet at the earth chakra. Envision the rose at the earth chakra now. The next rose we envision is to the left, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision the rose to the left now. The next rose we envision is to the right, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision the rose to the right now. The next rose we envision is in front of us, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision the rose in front of you now. And the last rose we envision is behind us, heart level, edge of aura, just a couple of feet out. Envision the rose behind you now. We have our 6 roses, and we connect our roses energetically simply through intention, stating, my roses are connected now. And your roses are connected, and you are at the highest frequency possible. And now that we are at that high frequency energy, we will say our prayer of intention. Repeat after me. I intend that I clearly hear, feel, see, and know. I also intend only high frequency energies are allowed to communicate with me. Thank you. What we have done there is we have told the universe, our helpers, what we intend to have happen. And now what we will do is we invite our loved one or guide into the octahedron with us, simply by asking for them to come. Think of who you would like to have come into the octahedron. Remember, you have the crystalline grid energy within there, the octahedron energy within there. You are very high frequency. Ask for whoever you want to come in with you simply by saying their name. Please come into my octahedron. And those energies are with you now. The first thing that we do is establish connection with that energy using our dominant clair. We ask an absolute yes or no question so that we can understand how we receive the yes, how we receive the no. The absolute yes question is whatever color your eyes are truly in this lifetime. You state, are my eyes X color in this lifetime, yes or no? And it's sometimes easier to state that aloud and then listen for the answer, feel the answer, know the answer. You might even see it from them as a yes or a no. The next question that we want to ask is an absolute no question. And the absolute no question we are going to use is a color of our eyes that we are not experiencing in this lifetime. So if you're blue-eyed, then say brown, etc. Ask your loved one or your guide, are my eyes X in this lifetime, yes or no? Receive that no in however they give it to you. And the reason we do this, the reason that we establish this connection the way that we do, is we want to make sure that we can receive those answers, that yes and that no. All right, now it's your turn to think of a question you would like to ask your guide or your loved one, but needs to be phrased in yes or no. And if you're having any trouble with the clarity, take a nice deep breath, ground yourself again. Make sure you have your octahedron on. And ask the loved one or your guide again. As soon as you receive the answer to that question, we're going to ask another question, yes or no. You can ask if it's a loved one, you can ask, did somebody greet you when you left? Yes or no. Have you seen so-and-so yet? Yes or no. If it's a guide that you're talking to, you can ask, are you a specialty guide? Yes or no. Once you feel that connection with them, with the yeses and the nos, branch out. See if there are other questions that might not be able to be answered in yes or no. Ask those and see what you receive. Another question that you can ask is there anything I need to know in this moment? If the answer is yes, receive that information. Know how much they love you and that you can do this anytime. You are able to communicate with them in the octahedron, the way that we have set this up, so that you are at the highest frequency and they always show up. Thank your loved one or guide or whoever you invited in. We are coming back to this time and space now, taking a nice deep breath. And again, knowing you can go back anytime to visit again. Grounding again, grounding from the bottoms of your feet all the way down into the soil beneath you. Bringing all of your consciousness back to this time and space now. Everything back. Taking a nice deep breath again. Bringing awareness to your eyes, slowly opening your eyes and returning. And take a moment to write down your experience. We like to write it down right away so that it does not go away. All right, everybody returned now. Because we go to an etheric space and then we come back, as you probably know in your meditations and experiences traveling, all of that, it can be a different experience, right? In a different frequency. So writing it down right away, it's like dreams. It's like when you don't write your dream down right away, then it becomes, you forget it immediately. What I'm going to do right now, I am going to stop the share. Whoops. There we go. All righty. And I'm going to do gallery view and see everybody. So I'm asking, as we go through this, I like to check in with my guides, my teachers, and make sure that there isn't anything more that they want to communicate with you. What they say is the biggest thing that that's for everybody here, you wouldn't be on this call, right? If you couldn't do this, you wouldn't be here if this wasn't something that you were ready to do. I mean, everybody can do this. Everybody can connect. What the guides really want you to know, the teachers really want you to know, is that the time is now, that this is real, and that you have the ability to do this, and there is nothing standing in the way anymore. That's what they would like to share with you. I'd like to open it up now if we can. I think what we probably would need to do is allow people to unmute themselves so that if you have any questions or experienced anything in that, in your meditation, or with the loved one, I would love to hear if you have any comments.
Yeah, why doesn't everybody raise your hand? If you know where
Oh, there we
down in
go.
the reactions, raise your hand. And then
Good
that
idea.
way, Sarina can call on who she's guided to call on.
Now I can't see actually everybody on my screen, but it should, oh, there we go. Okay, so it pops up. So Cassie, let's see if I can she unmute herself?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yay,
Okay.
good.
Hi there.
Technology.
So I was having a hard time distinguishing what the yes and no was. When I got a yes, it felt like some part of my right side would like twitch, or I would like feel like heat. But then when I asked for no, it wasn't as clear, but sometimes I would see like pixelation. Like I was saying clairvoyant and clairsentience are my strong ones. So
Nice.
It felt like no was on one level, like clairvoyance, and then yes was clairsentience. Is that possible?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's very possible. What I would say for you is to ask your were you talking with a loved one or a guide?
Loved one.
With a loved one, ask the loved one to give it to you in just seeing or just feeling. Play with it a little bit. See if they can show you the yes. A lot of people who are clairvoyant, they actually see a yes in their minds.
Okay.
They see or they see a no.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And you know what that says to me too is that you're probably going to be working on expanding both of those clairs. So Yeah, that
Okay.
would be a great thing to do, is work on both of those and have both of those come in for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Excellent. I'm so glad that you had that experience.
Yeah, that was interesting. I haven't asked for a yes or no before.
Yeah, and I find that again, that what that does is it just sets the tone. It gives it an absolute, and we start with the absolute yes and the absolute no, and you can use a lot of different things about your physicalness, like your my hair is brown in this lifetime, as long as it can be absolute. And what that does again is it starts building that connection, that fiber optic. And then again, I don't need to do that anymore. I sometimes do it if I'm trying to ask about stuff for like my daughter, which is so emotionally charged, right? She's 19, so you can imagine. And she's very sensitive. She's a very sensitive energy. I have to go back to the yeses and the nos because I'm so cluttered in my mind when I try to ask about her. It's like, is this for her highest good? Yes or no? So
Yeah.
it's a really good way to get that definite thing, the definite answer.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Cassie, very much. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was how to move forward with this. And also, I want to say too that we're doing this in an interesting environment. You're not totally quiet in your room in meditation. And so if you had some difficulties, it's okay. I would say just continue to practice, just continue to move into that space, continue to do the meditation. And I have a great meditation that I can send to people, or I can put somewhere, Shaun, so that it's the basics of, it's the very beginning of this, where it goes all the way through to the octahedron, and then it stops at the end of the octahedron, and then you can go wherever you want to go from there. You can ask whoever to come in, or you can do whatever you want, but it has everything that we did up to and through the octahedron. So I highly encourage everybody to exercise this muscle, because I forgot to tell you, I didn't say a lot about me, but I was a software engineer. So I was very, very logical thinking, which really has helped me in my practice, because I'm I'm a skeptic. I am skeptical in the truest sense of the word, where it's like, okay, you need to show it to me. I need to understand this a little bit more. I'm not going to take it just because you say, so I had a lot of people who would they would say things to me, and I kind of cocked my head going, I'm not sure if that's true or not. So, oh, Jacqueline, I was just going to call on you if you wanted to pop back up. Feel free to unmute, Jacqueline.
There we go. I just wanted to share real quickly with you the experience I had when we were going through the meditation.
That'd be great.
I never felt like this before. But as we were going through it, at first I felt like it was like goosebumps that I felt from my head. But then as we started going through the chakras, I actually felt like the energy going through my body and going all the way into the fingertips and all the way from the head all the way down to the toes. And I just thought that was just incredible to feel that.
That's fabulous.
And I've never experienced that before. And I just wanted to, share that with you and the others, and hoping that somebody else maybe possibly had something like that as well.
That is great. Yes, because that's frequency, that's vibration that's going through you. So that is absolutely wonderful that you experienced that. What that says to me is that you are a feeler for sure, if not more, right? And to absolutely practice that. I would also say, again, for the feelers, I want to say that you get to say what's in your space, and that you get to put boundaries around you, that you can have those boundaries, that you don't have to have everything come in.
Just for people that haven't really heard your story, just say a little bit about JT and how he first came to you, and how did you, because obviously you weren't already, you had to acclimate, right? To
Yes.
him.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yeah, before he I did not know I was a medium at all. I knew I was spiritual, I'd say, but I really wasn't. I wasn't totally in that genre. I didn't understand it, and it actually, it confused me a little bit. So when he left, I knew that it wasn't a random thing. He actually passed from the flu. He got sick on a Sunday, and Friday I went into his room and he wasn't breathing. And again, he was 7 years old, but I knew it wasn't a random thing. His sister was sick too, and she actually had a higher fever. I was actually a little bit more concerned about her. So I knew that it wasn't random, and I knew that he was somewhere. I just didn't know where. And I remember looking out of his window. I'd spent a lot of time in his bedroom, looking out the window, out into the stars, going, where are you? Where are you? I know you're out there somewhere, and not really even understanding what that even meant. And very early on, he was very, very active in the house. Very active. He would actually move. He was, 7, so we had little Matchbox cars. He would actually move them from shelves to the floor. And I thought that it was his little brother. His little brother was 3. And these were up on a high shelf. I'm going, how in God's name is that kid getting up there, grabbing those and bringing them down? And of course, it wasn't my 3-year-old. It was JT. He was making sure that I knew that he was there. He also, there was a mobile that he made that hung from the ceiling in kindergarten. It was Mars. It was 2 paper plates put together with paper in between. And, it's a typical kindergarten thing. And I went into his room one time and I said, you've got to let me know that you're around. You've got to let me know that you're here. And I looked up and the mobile was spinning. And I thought, oh, okay, it's just some air. Like I said, I'm a skeptic. It's just some air. It's, so I checked the vents, I checked the window, and nothing was open. And I thought, okay, that's curious. I said, okay, if that's you, spin it the other way. I was pretty demanding. And it stopped and it started spinning the other way. And that was clear indication to me that he was truly, truly here and trying to get my attention, trying to get me to communicate with him. And so once that happened and I knew that he was here, then I made it my quest to find him and to search everything about the afterlife and everything about in between lives and all of that. And it was through actually a between life regression, a life between lives regression, that I got a lot of my answers. That was actually before the medium told me that I was a medium, but I met him in that in-between space, and he came out of the crowd. There was a crowd of energies, and he came toward me, and he was his bubbly 7-year-old self. And, and I hugged him and we said, I missed you and all of that. And then I step back and he morphs into his soul self, which is not a 7-year-old. And that actually, that was very powerful, because then I got the ideas, you know, the everything, the puzzles started to come together, the pieces started to fall into place, that, you know, the 7-year-old was just the incarnation this time around, and that he really was this very, very immense, powerful soul. And even more than that, one of the questions that I had for him in that in-between space, because everybody, all my intuitive friends told me, they said, oh, he's got big plans for you. You know, you agreed to this. You agreed to this. And I said, what mother agrees to their kid leaving like that? I said, well, if I agreed to it, then there must be some really good weed up there or something, because I mean, hell, oh, why would we do that? Right. Well, then he shows me, he takes me to this window, and I'm looking into the window, and I see the soul of myself and of JT and my husband and my daughter and my son, and we're all sitting around this table, sort of, you know, soul sitting around a table, and I hear myself saying, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, let's do it, knowing that I was agreeing at that moment to have him leave. But the reason that all transpired, of course, was so that I could find who I was, so that I could help people to connect. And, you know, from all of your experiences, the collective experiences in this group is so immense, so huge, that of the, you know, the STEs and the NDEs, we know it's real. We know it's real. And having the proof, the quote unquote proof that it's real, it really made a huge difference in my grief process, and in getting to the place where I could communicate with him, where I could get there. And again, it was very spotty in the beginning, just probably like what was happening with all of you tonight. What a very spotty. I would get kind of a yes, and it would feel like he was really far away, and then he was close, and then he was far away again. But I just kept at it. I kept at it, and I kept at it, and then I'll never forget. I was driving down one of our backcountry roads here, and I just started a conversation with him. I just said, are you here? And he said, yeah, I'm here. What do you want to talk about? And all of a sudden it was a conversation. It was, you know, all this, all that time that I'd done the yeses and the no's. And it was so frustrating just getting those one word answers. Then all of a sudden I could have the conversation with him. It was just incredible. Marcia, you have your hand raised.
You want to unmute, Marcia?
Working on it. Hi, I'm Marcia, and I have been interacting and seeing spirits since I was a toddler. And so this opportunity today, one of my friends that passed a while back, about 4 or 5 years ago, that I haven't connected with for quite a while, she came and started playing games with me. And she was expanding all these different things into different geometry shapes, and she was
wow,
throwing lightning at the grid. And
that's awesome.
And telling me you're a fraud. And I said, she's not a fraud. Look, we're having this fun time together. She said, you can do that anytime. And then almost as an echo, you said you can do this anytime. And I could see she's real. I was like, anyway, so Jane and I are having this very fun time. And what I get from all of that is that I haven't spent much time doing that lately. And I'm not real at this moment wanting to spend a lot of energy in the other side and in that realm. But what it reminds me is that I can, and that
right.
If I want to, it's there. And that there's a lot of game playing and fun. And a couple of other guides are telling me, yeah, you know, we haven't had a conversation for a while. It's like, so thank you for reminding me of this big part of myself that I have really ignored. And Key is here with me. Do you want to say something?
Yes, I'd like to. Yes, as the other woman that spoke a while ago, Susan, I believe, I felt very good going through the chakras and the colors, and just felt very grounded to the cosmos and that felt very good doing that.
Great.
I found myself not letting anyone in.
Oh, interesting.
I was open to it. I felt very open. But I didn't let or maybe I didn't feel like I needed to. I mean, it's like, I couldn't think of anyone I would want to let in or who would want to come in, or I just was totally within myself. And I'm just kind of questioning that a bit.
Oh, I think it's just a self-exploration. Personally, I think that it's absolutely fine. I would say you were probably just enjoying being in that, being in that energy, being the octahedron and the crystalline grid energy are just so phenomenal. They feel so wonderful that you could just hang out like you did, just hang out in there. And down the road, you may do it again, and you may say, okay, hey, yeah, now a guide can come in, whatever guide wants to help me right now. You don't have to name them out specifically. You can say, whichever guide wants to help me right now, high frequency, high guide, come on in. So yeah, I would play with it because I would definitely not question it. I think you were just enjoying being in that space.
Okay, yes, at first I started to find myself questioning a little bit. Then I also found, as I was telling my friend here, that I just was enjoying, but I didn't let anyone, I didn't seem to need to let anyone in, or that no one was asking to come in. But then there was a friend that we both had, and her name was Karen Anna, and she was a friend of both of ours, and she passed. And I went in front of her home one day just to sit, because I used to visit her, and she had a place here right close to the ocean. And so I decided to take a walk on the beach. And I took a walk, and all of a sudden I noticed that there was a shark out there. I looked and I thought, oh, it must be a dolphin. No, I said, that looks like a shark. Some guy in a canoe saw it, and he started to go out there because there was a woman out there swimming. And I saw him go over and tell her to come in, and she was coming in, and I went and stood by the water, and she said, oh, that guy told me there's a shark out there. I don't know whether to believe him or not, but I came on in and I said, yes, you saw a shark. There's a shark out there. So the shark just kind of stayed in. You just didn't ever see anything like that so close to shore. So I walked down the beach, and the shark just kind of swam that way too. And then I turned the other way, and I walked back towards where she lived in front of the beach, and the shark was swimming out along too.
Oh, wow.
And then a couple of other people started seeing it and walked with me and said, is that a shark? And I said, yes, it is. And it's just, swimming out there back and forth. And I walked the beach again, and it swam with me. And then I came the other way, and it swam with me. And all of a sudden I stopped and I said, Karen, you brat. You would come through a shark. You would do that, wouldn't you?
Right?
And it's like I could feel her giggle. And it was just like, oh my gosh, and I had about 4 other people with me by this time, and we're watching that shark out there. And I said, you little stinker, and we walked again, and I just knew. I believe I did mention it to one person I felt kind of that I've been walking with, and I said, I just realized that's my friend out there.
That is so incredible. And you bring up such a wonderful point that I hope everybody understands here. And that is that, yeah, our loved ones, they can come as whatever they want. JT came as dragonflies very, very clearly. They would land on me, and dragonflies usually don't do that. That's not regular behavior. So yeah, absolutely. They can come as birds, and yeah. And the shark, I think that is absolutely hysterical of all things, right?
When I said, okay, Karen, I said, I'm feeling pretty strongly that that's you. And but I'm going to go now. And I started to walk away. And then I looked back, and the shark was swimming away.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty clear to me.
It made it very clear. It made it very clear.
That is really awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely.
Thank you.
Christina has a comment and a question.
Oh, thank you. Because I'm sorry, I don't pay a lot of attention to the chat. Let me.
That's fine. I'll watch them for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, good evening. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for being here.
I recently have gone through a great loss, and I've just so I've been spending a lot of time thinking and being in this world, and I just would like to ask if everybody here could hold my son in a good space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so sorry that you're having to go through that. Were you able to connect tonight?
Well, I connect up and down. It goes up and down.
It feels like a very, recent, like you said. So, and that's one of the things. They're learning how to communicate with us. We're learning how to communicate with them. Just keep doing it for sure, because you know that he's there to help you.
I guess so.
Oh gosh, absolutely. Regardless of how they left, because sometimes, the way that they leave, that's what we focus on, because of the trauma involved in that. Regardless of that, they are right there to help us. That's their job now. Their job is to assist us in moving us through what we need to go through, in the grief process. So really allow that to happen. Not that you can, well, I guess you could stop it, but but I would say embracing the process is going to be a lot more productive for you than avoiding it. I'm not saying that you are avoiding it by any means, but just from personal experience, I kind of went in and out of the grief process. But once I committed to it and said, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this differently than what everybody else has told me. Because I remember in the beginning, everybody saying your life is never going to be the same. You're never going to have joy. It's always going to be like this. You're always going to want to, stick your head in the oven. All of those things that were being told to me. And I said, no, that's not the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to make sure that I do this differently. And because I know that there's more here for me. I know that there's more for me to do, and that there was purpose in this. Absolutely. So sending you all the love in the universe, and remembering that you have so much support right here, right now, all the people that are here, and all of the people who are not here in bodies anymore. They're here to help you too. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, Christina.
Yes. Sylvia.
I would like to offer one of the lotuses that I fold as a meditative practice to each of the speakers, and to you, Sarina.
Oh, beautiful.
This was actually what I was using instead of a rose for the meditation.
Oh, great. What a great idea.
A quick story. I connected with my heartmate Brad, who crossed over in 2008. And one of my first experiences in communicating with him after he crossed over, well, there were a couple, but several that were funny, but this one, I was driving down the highway at like 60 miles an hour in my old green Subaru, and I feel and hear him come to the seat next to me, and he says, "Dear, will you clear off the seat so I can sit down?" Hey, honey, I'm driving down the road at 60 miles an hour. Now is not a good time for me to clear off the seat. And B, honey, you don't need me to clear out the seat anymore because you're not in a body. It's okay. You can just sit down with all
That's
the
really
stuff.
funny.
So yeah, I've been doing this a while, and this was a chance to reconnect with him, which I really appreciated because we laugh a lot when we.
That's wonderful. Oh, thank you for
thank you.
sharing that. Thank you very much. I love hearing those stories. I really do.
Yes, honey.
Because yeah, they are definitely right here with us 100%, you know, and one of the things that I was concerned about, because I was calling on JT day and night and day and night. Are you here with me? Are you still here? Are you still here? I'm sure I drove him crazy. But then I said, am I keeping you from anything? And he said, oh, no, I want to be here. I can be doing all that stuff too. I can do all of that and still be here at the same time. So that's one of the things that I like to impart to people, is that we're not keeping them from anything. We are so important to them, and they really do want this connection. So when we do this, we're not keeping them from their other jobs. They can be doing those as well. So thank you very much.
So somebody has a question, and let me, I'm going to ask it for her. So
Okay.
the question is, so after talking with somebody in the meditation, is there anything for protection or grounding needed for the aura? So how can she protect herself or ground herself after she's?
The octahedron is very high frequency. And so if there is, if you feel like you need to have the protection, then I would absolutely say keep the octahedron on, as well as stating the intention. Only high frequency is allowed around me. Only high frequency is allowed in my energy. And if you have a particular person that you really just don't want to talk to, then you can say, that person is not allowed to come into my space. You can say that. They are not allowed. I will talk to my high guides. I will talk to other people, but they are not allowed. So that's how you can do that. We don't have to do any other protection other than that. You can also, the other wonderfully protective sacred geometrical shape is the sphere. You know, you can use that as well, putting the sphere around you. But those sacred geometrical shapes have such high frequency in them. If you can imagine, you know, they say, you know, when you turn the light switch on, then it's no longer dark, right? You've got the light in there. So having that high frequency, other frequencies cannot exist in that space. So only high frequency can exist in the octahedron. Hopefully that answers her question, or
Yeah.
his. Great.
And so maybe one last, so Cassie had said that somebody named Tom came through with her mom, and she doesn't know who Tom is, but do you maybe know who Tom is, or is Tom related to somebody else here?
Tom would be, and it came through with the mom.
Yeah, so she says
Came in
that
with the mom.
Tom came up during my experience. My mom, who I channeled, said he was a friend she was hanging out with, and I'm not sure if that name is relevant to anyone, but it came through for me.
Oh, gotcha. No, it doesn't feel like it's connected to anybody here. It does feel like it's a friend of hers on the other side. Someone actually who she spent other lifetimes with too, you know, so, and that probably will become, the significance will become more relevant later on, is what I'm hearing. That's very interesting though, right? Random people show up and you go, what the heck are you doing in my octahedron? But if it came in with mom, then that's okay, because we know mom's high frequency, Tom's high frequency.
So it's about 7:40 our time, and there's a lot of people on the East Coast that we don't want to keep up too late, but you know, this has been really amazing. It's been so wonderful, and the energy that you brought with you tonight, everybody is vibing and buzzing. I can feel it everywhere. I certainly am. And
Awesome.
so for everyone, it's sarinabaptista.com. And then you can share the meditation later. We'll share it in the thing you were talking about. We can share it in the
Yes.
Hawaiian IANDS group. And let's see. And then also, if anybody would like to donate to IANDS Maui or Hawaiian IANDS, that's always very nice. We do this all free. And it enables us to keep it free. If anybody would like to donate, just go to iansmaui.com and there's a donate button up top. And Sarina she's in our Hawaiian IANDS group, so hopefully you're all in there and you can talk to her through there, or of course her page, which is Bridge to Heal is the short, what's the long name of the page?
It's well, the full business name is Bridge to Healing. So it's Bridge and then the number 2 Heal. But if you just search my name in there for Facebook, then you can find me there. Or like I said, or like you said, I should say, I'll be in the group as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that would be great to have the meditation. What is it, like a CD? Or that we can, or an MP3?
MP3. It's an MP3 file.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Sarina. And thank you, everybody else. Thank you to Jack and Susan for helping us co-host.
Yes. Thank you very much. We can't do it without them, right?
No, I can't do much without them, actually. I can barely get on Zoom without them. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you hopefully at the sharing group the 3rd Tuesday in a couple of weeks. And everyone have a great night.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate everybody.
Thank you,
Namaste.
Sarina. Namaste.